Hello, this is Angela with Parker's Hausfrau. I wanted to make a quick video to talk about how to do a rolled hem on a linen shirt. It is a rainy day here in Portland, Oregon, and my boys are over there on the playground with their friends, and I have brought my hand sewing. So if you saw one of my older videos, I ordered some linen the end of last year to make some clothes for myself and for my family members. And right now I am making a shirt that is a wrap shirt, and it is 100% linen, this beautiful shot weave. And this is the front placket where I'm going to do some snaps, and it has a long tie. I'll post a picture when I'm actually out of the car and can lay the garment out. Has these lovely dual colors in it of kind of a purpley pink, I believe they called it raspberry, and orange. So I need to finish the edges of the shirt. Linen, which as you can see unravels very quickly and easily. It frays terribly. Doing a little rolled hem is a nice way to finish the edges of the collar and the armpits, any like front neck of the shirt. If you don't want to bind it with bias tape and you don't want to have to line the whole garment. So let me show you how I'm doing this rolled hem here. Now, a rolled hem is a really nice, delicate edging. It works for silk and it works for very fine gauzy cottons, but with linen, it works particularly well. So to complete a rolled hem, the first thing you're going to want to do is come along and clean up the edge that you're going to be hemming. You want to snip off all of these little fraying bits, and I only snip a few inches at a time because linen does fray so easily. I want to make sure that I'm just working on removing the little bits right where I'm going to be working. And then you're going to need your thimble. Obviously my thimble is my old leather thimble that constantly stretches, and I'm constantly having to tack it tighter so that it stays on my finger. And you can see where my dog got a hold of it once. I really like a leather thimble. And I have my thread. Now here I am using a Gooderman pink cotton. Ideally I should be using linen. Let me get it out here and show it to you. I got this at the thrift store, actually. Ideally, I should be using linen, but I can't find linen in either of these colors. And I actually found that what looked best was a pink, even though these two colors are kind of a lavendery raspberry and an orange. Pink seemed to blend in the nicest. So that's what I'm going to be using. So when doing a rolled hem, you really are just taking the edge of the fabric and rolling it into a little roll. It's very easy. Linen loves to, if you press it with your finger, it loves to stay and make a nice crease. You can see that. And the same with the roll. It will stay really nicely, but it can be tricky to get the start of the roll going. And I've found for me, the best way to do that is to get it a little bit wet. Wet the linen. I'm obviously using my bubble water here because I don't have any regular water. But if you wet the linen, it is much easier to get it going in a roll. And then you just roll it in your fingers. And it can be a little fiddly to start, but once you have it going, it goes really easily. Let's get this little edge up here. I love sewing in the car in the rain while my kids are out on the playground. It's so peaceful in here. Sometimes I bring a book. And you just kind of rock your fingers back and forth until it starts to form a roll. Do you see that? And I keep going, just roll. And I tend to do a few inches at a time. And again, this is just water, so it'll dry nicely. And for me, I don't like to do the roll too far down. I like to do just a couple of inches, and then I'm going to sew it down, and then I'll roll a few more. Once you get the roll going, you'll find you don't need to wet it all the way down the fabric. It just helps make it a little grippier when you're first starting. So again, just roll it in your fingers. It makes a nice little roll, and then I'm going to come in and sew it. Now I'm transitioning from, this is the edge of my shirt, This is the front edge. So I'm transitioning from doing a hem stitch here to doing a rolled hem for the collar, for the neck opening, I should say. I forgot my camera tripod today, so my phone is sitting tucked into my scarf. So sorry for the weird camera angle. So when I go through and do my rolled hem, I have a tube of fabric in which I've encased the raw edge. So there's no raw edges, but now I need to secure it to the garment. And so to do that, I'm going to have to make some stitches. This is the inside of the fabric. This is the outside of my shirt, the neckline. And I want to make sure that the stitches are as invisible as possible. And to do that, I'm going to pick up exactly one thread from the back fabric here. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to sew about 5 or 6 threads across, just through the tube, but not through the bottom fabric. So I don't know if you can see that. Doesn't show on the front of the garment. And then I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to go again, and I'm going to pick up one thread, just one thread. And you can see there's just a tiny bit showing on the other side of the fabric. And same thing, go just through the tube, 5 or 6 threads. Same thing, one more time. Go through, pick up exactly one thread on the flat of the fabric. On the front side, it barely shows. Oh, I think I got 2 threads here. Let's back up. There's one. Barely shows on the front. You always want to check how it looks on the front of the garment. So rolled hems can take a little bit of time. Any hand hemming can take a little bit of time because you want to double check how it's going so that it's staying virtually invisible. And then 4 or 5 threads, give or take, all the way down. And this forms a really nice, neat, delicate hem. And when I get to the end here, I'm just going to keep rolling, and keep rolling, and keep rolling, keep rolling, and do another couple of inches. And then I'm going to hem that as well. So I have this little tube that has encased my raw edge. It's a delicate, unobtrusive hem. Up one thread only. Go in 4 or 5 just in the roll and pick up 4 or 5 threads through the roll only. And then 1 thread through the flat of the fabric, 4 or 5 down on the roll, all the way down. And so I just go along little by little and give it a little tug. It may be a little loose, and if you give it a little tug, it'll kind of roll it back up. And then I'm going to move down and keep going until I finished this whole neckline of this shirt. Here's the whole neckline. And I've got my bubble water here in case I need to wet a little bit more. Well, I'm going to listen to my audiobook and come back and show you what this looks like when I'm all done with this section of a neckline. So again, I'm just going to go, I have my 1 thread I've caught. And now I'm going to go 4 or 5 more down just through the tube that I've rolled. So making some progress here on my rolled hem. You can see from the front, you can hardly see a thing. Put my needle back here. That's what it looks like from the front side of the garment. That's the rolled hem itself. Rolled hem, front side virtually invisible. I don't mind doing hand sewing. I find it really meditative, and there are a lot of things that just can't be done by machine. I have no qualms about doing machine sewing. I'm not a snob or a purist about hand sewing. I definitely do a mix, but there's nothing that beats a rolled hem for that really delicate edge. When I was in middle school, my mom's friend gave me a silk scarf that had a tag on it that said, hand rolled, hand sewn in France. And I remember thinking, like, this is just such a decadent garment. Some woman sat and spent hours sewing this long large squares hem all by hand. And I think about hand sewing and how it connects generations of women and it connects us to our past. It's just something I really, really enjoy doing. So I'm just about done with this neat little rolled hem section here. Feeling pretty happy with that. Again, if you're thinking about doing a rolled hem, if you are doing silk, please don't wet it because some silks can water stain, but wetting the edge makes it very, very nice and easy and tidy to start rolling your linen. And don't forget as you go along to trim those raggedy edges. Wet the fabric, roll it in your fingers in just a gentle rolling motion, rocking back and forth until you get the roll going. Pick up one thread from the bottom and then move through your little tube roll for another 4, 5, 6 threads and come out again. And when you get to the end, you'll have a nice, delicate, finished edge for your garments, for your handkerchiefs, for your scarves. Thanks for watching this little video today. I will be back for my regular video on Friday. As always, these videos are not yet monetized, so please feel free to check out my Patreon down in the description. Thanks.